coming up this week. Now I won't be able to forget either of them. I turn back to Olive. Don't you enjoy celebrating our freedom? I ask quietly. She tosses my tracker band to me. I celebrate my freedom every day by simply being free. I think it's entirely unnecessary for the Guild to go to such great expense every year to commemorate the day Draven's reign ended. I've heard about the magnificent balls hosted by the guilds every year on Liberation Day. I used to dream of attending, but Mom would never have let me, even if I'd been fortunate enough to receive an invitation from a guild member. This is the first year I'm allowed to attend. This is also the first year I'd rather be anywhere else. Am I dismissed now? I ask as I secure the leather tracker band around my wrist. Yes, and don't be late tomorrow night. We've scheduled an assignment race for the 5th years. You'll all begin at the same time, and extra points are awarded based on the order in which you complete the assignment and return to the guild. Now go. You've already wasted enough time this afternoon. I enjoy the outdoor obstacle course. Vines and broken stone walls and stumps of wood placed strategically by mentors over the years. A still pool of water, formed by rain gathering in the crater left behind from the explosion that destroyed the old guild, marks the end of the course. I've just swung across the pool for the 2nd time when I hear the sound. I drop onto my feet, release the rope-like vine, and squint into the dim bluish light. It was the snap of a branch, as if someone, or something, was moving through the trees nearby. Of course, my first thought is of Chase. It always is these days. Is he hiding amongst the trees, watching me? Has he been waiting for me to show up so he can speak to me? After all, he knows I train on the ruins sometimes. Then it strikes me, with sickening abruptness, that he was the one who created these ruins. He is the sole reason this guild no longer exists. I bend over and breathe deeply, willing the nausea away. How is it that I stood beside, that I spoke to and laughed with, that I touched someone of such evil intent and never realized it? Is he so good at hiding that part of himself? I straighten and peer between the trees once more. They sway ever so slightly in the chilly breeze, their tangled branches reaching for one another like spindly-fingered arms. But I see no other movement. Then, with a sudden rush of wings and a squawk, a large bird detaches itself from the dark outline of the trees and swoops overhead. With each flap of its wings, bright spots of luminous color light up its feathers. I breathe out sharply in relief, one hand against my chest as adrenaline subsides and the pulsing light of the bird disappears into the forest on the other side of the clearing. When I've completed my 5 perfect rounds on the obstacle course, it's almost too dark to see clearly. Of course, it's never completely dark in Creepy Hollow, not with the glow bugs and various other night creatures that produce some form of illumination, or the giant mushrooms that soak up the moon's rays, or the plants that light up if you stand on them. I head back to the guild, thinking of Zed. We may have exchanged a few heated words lately, but I still care what happens to him. He's done so much for me over the past few years, and now he's locked up in a cell. I doubt there's any way I can help him, but I should still try to find out what's going on. As I cross the guild foyer, I glance at the corridor he disappeared into earlier. Last week, after returning from an assignment with a pyromaniacal, graffiti-loving elf in tow, I stood uncertainly at the base of the main stairway while Olive pointed to that corridor as if she expected me to know what was down there. "Well," she said, "what are you waiting for?" The guards didn't stop me when I walked into that corridor. They opened the gate without question. Another guard at the bottom of the elevator shaft took note of my assignment details, then gestured to the gate of solid bars behind him. Not boring vertical bars like those filling Velazar Prison, but bars twisting elegantly into curling spirals, joined by shapes that look like roses and leaves. As I stared at the closed gate, wondering how I was supposed to get through it, the guard asked, "First time down here?" I nodded, then frowned at the elf as he rolled his eyes and muttered, "Amateur." "What year are you in?" the guard asked. "5th? Cool. Hold your pendant up to the gate. That'll open it. All guardians and 5th-year trainees have access down here." So I held my pendant close to the gate, and the metal pieces curled away and disappeared into the walls on either side. It was easy. And 4 days later, when I went back to deliver the papers detailing the elf's release and community service requirements,